know how crucial drones are in the Russia-Ukraine war. Russia's high-cost armored vehicles can be easily destroyed by these low-cost drones. Similarly, Russian infantry is also exposed to these drone attacks. Since the beginning of the war, we have witnessed some highly interesting footage captured by drone cameras during attacks. Let's analyze and discuss these fascinating moments together. Stay tuned. March 17, 2025. As Ukrainian forces continue their reconnaissance operations in the Donetsk region, they detect Russian soldiers. Normally in such attacks, Russian troops either retreat or attempt to take cover. However, these particular Russian soldiers remain completely still the moment they notice the Ukrainian drone. The Ukrainian operator immediately launches an attack on the stationary Russian troops. Following the strike, both Russian soldiers lose their lives. What we want to draw attention to here is why these Russian soldiers behave this way, a pattern that has been observed multiple times in different areas. Now let's dive deeper into the situation and analyze it further. Why do Russian soldiers remain stationary when facing drone attacks? Ukrainian drone operators have frequently encountered Russian troops who remain completely still when spotted. There could be multiple reasons for this behavior. 1. Fear, panic, shock response. Sudden and lethal threats on the battlefield trigger the body's natural fight-flight-freeze response. Drone attacks can push some soldiers to flee, others to fight, and some to freeze in place. The psychological impact of a sudden attack? Drones often approach quietly and strike unexpectedly. Kamikaze drones and armed UAVs in particular can catch soldiers off guard. Facing an imminent threat, many soldiers may freeze, unsure of what to do. Fear of death. In a war zone, soldiers are constantly aware of the risk of death. However, high-tech threats like drones make traditional combat responses ineffective, causing some soldiers to freeze out of fear. Lack of experience and unpreparedness. If troops have not been adequately trained to counter drone threats, they may panic. This is particularly common among newly recruited or inexperienced soldiers who lack battlefield awareness. 2. Lack of a safe escape route. Russian troops are often positioned in open fields, trenches, or within the ruins of buildings. When they detect an incoming drone, they may have no viable escape option. Moving in open terrain increases a risk. Soldiers who realize they've been spotted might try to remain still rather than running, hoping to blend into their surroundings. Movement in an open area could make them an easier target for the drone. Insufficient cover from trenches or debris. While soldiers might try to hide in craters or behind wreckage, they often underestimate drones' high-resolution cameras and thermal imaging systems. Some troops, unaware of these advanced technologies, may believe staying still will help them avoid detection. 3. Attempting to trick the drone's targeting system. Certain UAVs, especially those with advanced tracking systems, prioritize moving targets. This could lead some soldiers to believe that staying still will help them avoid detection. Some thermal sensors focus on movement. Soldiers may assume that drone targeting relies on motion detection and believe that staying motionless will prevent the system from locking onto them. Playing dead strategy. If troops suspect the drone is conducting reconnaissance rather than attacking immediately, they may pretend to be dead, hoping to avoid being marked as a target for a follow-up strike. However, most of these strategies fail because modern UAVs are equipped to detect both stationary and moving objects. Their thermal sensors can pick up temperature differences, making it easy to identify enemy troops regardless of whether they move or not. Fourth, lack of training and experience. In recent years, the Russian military has conducted large-scale mobilizations, and as the war has progressed, less experienced soldiers have been sent to the front lines. Shortened training periods. In the later stages of the war, Russia rapidly deployed troops to the battlefield, many of whom may not have received sufficient training on how to defend themselves against drones. Misinformation and poor strategy. Some soldiers may have been given incorrect tactics by their commanders, or have unrealistic expectations about drone threats. Strategies like just stay still to avoid detection are ineffective in modern warfare. Loss of morale and hopelessness. The prolonged war and disruptions in logistical support. Soldiers deprived of ammunition, food, and reinforcements may lose their motivation to fight, feeling abandoned on the battlefield. Some troops, upon spotting a drone, may believe there is no escape, that no reinforcements will arrive, and that their chances of survival are slim. This sense of hopelessness can cause them to freeze in place. Such psychological breakdowns weaken a soldier's reflexes, leaving them unable to react properly in a combat situation. Conclusion: there are multiple psychological, tactical, and technical reasons why Russian soldiers remain motionless during drone attacks. Factors such as fear, panic, lack of training, the absence of safe cover, misguided strategies, electronic warfare effects, and declining morale contribute to their inability to respond effectively. However, as we can see, remaining motionless is not a solution in modern warfare. Drone technology continues to evolve, making it increasingly difficult for soldiers to evade detection and attacks. As you know, these drones are not only used by Ukraine. Seeing Ukraine successfully conduct operations, the Russians have also begun deploying these drones on the battlefield. So, what measures can be taken against drone attacks? Movement and position. Change soldiers on the front lines employ one of the most critical tactics to protect themselves from drone strikes by moving and changing positions. Drones generally detect stationary targets more quickly, making it extremely risky to remain completely still. However, moving targets can also be detected more easily by drones. Therefore, the most effective strategy is to relocate using irregular and unpredictable movements. Advancing in a zigzag pattern or changing direction suddenly can make it more difficult for drones' targeting algorithms to lock on, increasing a soldier's chances of survival. Considering that drones can quickly identify targets, mobility and unpredictability not only prevent the enemy from executing effective attacks, but also allow soldiers to maneuver more safely. Continuously changing location makes it harder for drones to track, significantly improving survival rates. Camouflage concealment is vital for a soldier's survival on the battlefield. Natural barriers such as dense vegetation can make it harder for drones' optical cameras to detect soldiers. Additionally, staying inside buildings, deep trenches, or behind natural obstacles can help soldiers avoid leaving a thermal signature. When facing thermal imaging systems, soldiers can use heat-absorbing blankets or specialized thermal camouflage clothing to limit the effectiveness of enemy thermal detection. These camouflage and concealment techniques make it more challenging for the enemy to target individuals with drones, enhancing their protection. The ability to stay hidden can significantly increase a soldier's survival time on the battlefield. Electronic jamming and signal disruption systems. Another strategy used to neutralize drone attacks is electronic jamming systems. These systems disrupt enemy drones' GPS or control signals, rendering them inoperative or causing them to lose orientation. Although the use of such equipment on the front lines is limited, some units deploy handheld jammers to locally disrupt drone strikes. Electronic jammers prevent drones from completing their missions, giving soldiers a crucial chance to survive. The effectiveness of these systems varies depending on the dynamics of the battlefield. However, when used correctly and at the right time, they can significantly reduce the impact of drone strikes and provide an advantage over enemy drones. Firearms and counter-drone systems. In some situations, soldiers can directly shoot down drones using firearms or specially designed counter-drone systems. Light machine guns, shotguns, or similar weapons can be used to target low-flying drones, making it a viable defense strategy. However, since drones are often remotely controlled and capable of rapid maneuvers, this method is not always successful. Drones' ability to change direction quickly and unpredictably often renders conventional defensive measures insufficient. Therefore, more advanced counter-drone systems may be required to effectively neutralize them. Equipping soldiers with these systems would significantly enhance their safety on the battlefield. Deceptive and distracting methods. Various distraction techniques can be used to make it more difficult for drones to identify targets. Methods such as fake heat sources, smoke bombs, or flash effects can mislead drones' targeting systems. These distraction techniques help conceal soldiers' actual positions and protect them from enemy attacks. In particular, these methods are highly effective in countering drones' precision targeting capabilities. The use of deceptive systems complicates the target acquisition process for drones, increasing soldiers' chances of survival. Use of underground and enclosed spaces drones are generally more effective in open areas. Therefore, soldiers can protect themselves by hiding in underground tunnels, deep trenches, or enclosed spaces. Going underground, especially into deep trenches and concrete structures, reduces the likelihood of detection by drones' optical cameras and thermal imaging systems. Whenever possible, soldiers can take advantage of underground structures to avoid drones. Underground tunnels present a highly challenging environment for drones to detect and track targets. Additionally, enclosed areas, trenches, and the interiors of buildings provide valuable hiding opportunities. These tactics are key elements in battlefield survival. Conclusion: frontline soldiers employ a range of tactical approaches to defend themselves against drone attacks. Methods such as movement, camouflage, electronic jamming, and utilizing underground spaces help limit drones' effectiveness and improve soldiers' survival rates. While each strategy varies depending on battlefield conditions, integrating them correctly is crucial for effective defense against drone threats. These techniques have become an essential part of modern warfare and can significantly enhance the success of military units. March 22, 2025. Ukrainian forces, during a reconnaissance mission, detect a Russian bunker filled with fuel tanks. This bunker is located in a highly secretive and strategic position, as the Russians have established a significant logistical and operational hub there. After a while, a drone appears near the bunker and carefully lands. As it touches down, a Russian soldier emerges from the bunker, quickly retrieves the drone, and takes it safely inside. From the soldier's relaxed demeanor and direction toward the bunker, it's clear the drone belongs to Russia. Furthermore, Russian drone operators inside the bunker are standing by, ready to control the device and use it for various military operations. However, Ukrainian drone operators notice this and act swiftly. They carefully target the Russian bunker and drop a bomb directly onto it. The bomb detonates upon reaching the bunker, combining with the fuel tanks to create a massive explosion. The blast echoes with a loud noise and completely destroys the bunker structure. The Russian soldiers and operational team inside are completely wiped out. March 21, 2025. Ukrainian forces are ambushed by the Russians while advancing along a supply route from Sumy in the Kursk region, traveling in an all-terrain vehicle. Shortly afterward, a Russian kamikaze drone following the vehicle finds its target and launches an attack. Drones have now become a technology used by Russian forces as well. However, considering the effectiveness of Ukrainian drone usage, it is clear that the Russians have not yet been able to use this technology as efficiently as Ukraine. After the first attack, the Ukrainian soldiers react calmly and continue their mission without sustaining any casualties. While the vehicle seems to have sustained some serious damage from the attack, it's unclear whether the vehicle was severely affected. Later, a Ukrainian soldier courageously takes action to neutralize the Russian drone. The other Ukrainian soldiers successfully carry out their tasks. This soldier's bravery and determination are commendable. As the Ukrainian forces regroup to continue their journey, they are once again attacked, this time by a Russian FPV drone. However, the Ukrainian soldiers respond to this attack with remarkable composure. No soldiers are injured, but it's possible that the vehicle sustained some minor damage, though this is not clearly visible. The purpose of sharing this video is to highlight Ukraine's military organizational capabilities and discipline under drone attacks. The Ukrainian forces, by using modern technologies, have undergone significant training, particularly in handling difficult situations such as drone attacks. This grants them strategic superiority and the ability to conduct more successful operations.